Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show where, after the collision, we sift through
the wreckage.
the wreckage. I am your host, Jimmy T. He is the best in the world, and my co-host, Jamie the Vet Williams, and of course, our other co-host. He is the magnanimous, the glorious, the Professor Chabelo Vera Cruz. Happy Turkey Day to both of y'all and to everybody in the chat. Vet, I'll start with you. How was your Thanksgiving, man?
Yeah, it was fine. Listen, the thing is, as a third co-host, Jimmy, you're gonna have to stop stepping on the professor's boy at the end of the wreckage. You keep doing that, like he's not gonna do it, and then it just seems like you are unprofessional at this point. So I'm trying to look out for you. This is
it's okay, Vet. It's okay, Vet. It's baby steps. You know how, like, a professional baseball team has got to get everybody on the same page. A basketball team's got to get everybody on the same system. We're right there. It's just right there. But Jimmy, it must be the turkey thing. It's the tryptophan, the turkey, the cranberry sauce. He's full. He's like, I just want to get this. I want to get this going. Because if I don't, I'm going to fall asleep.
Three days ago, and he didn't even celebrate it probably. And also watch what you say when you say NBA or basketball teams got to get on the same system, because with all the scandals going around now, that could mean a bunch of things. We don't want to imply anything.
Are you implying the Ma has some influence? Come on, shame on you, Vic.
I said nothing about that.
Legitimate. It's all legitimate.
Oh, well, anyway, we won't get into that. But, Prof, how was your Turkey Day? Did you have fun? Did you spend time with family?
It was a nice,
and everything else.
Yeah, it was a nice weekend with the family, good eating and all that stuff. And I know we don't like to talk about the other organization, but it is very refreshing to have a pay-per-view. They say it's 3 hours, maybe 3 hours and 15 minutes, and it ends in 3 hours and 15 minutes. Then I went to sleep. I feel so refreshed. It's not like another organization. I don't know which one I'm thinking about, but when I'm about to go to sleep at 1 a.m. Eastern time after 15 matches, and then I'm like dragging. I'm trying to motivate myself. Totally opposite with the other one. I don't know. I felt that way. I just feel that way.
3 hours and 15 minutes, and then we get done with 0 hour.
That's a fact, like total facts. And it was Survivor Series weekend. It was a decent show. And we will be covering it here, like maybe today, latest tomorrow. But yeah, look, I wonder what they have Lab Rat feels actually, because he was there, by the way. And I was talking to him, sending me pictures while he was there live. Pretty interesting. And what a great place to have a pay-per-view, by the way, guys. You can see downtown, like just over the horizon. Yeah. I think San Diego and the baseball field where they did the show, I forgot what it was called, but it was a nice setting.
Petco Park.
Petco Park?
Yeah, home of the Padres.
Okay. Yeah, I knew that much. I knew it was home of the Padres. But yeah, man, it's a nice place, Vet. I mean, I like it. San Diego is bopping. The 619.
Yeah, as far as like, Southern California, it doesn't get much better than San Diego from what I hear. I've never actually spent any real time there, but
really,
people say it's perfect weather. It's at least it's not Los Angeles, like that kind of a thing. And I always like the look of wrestling in outdoor venues.
Me too.
So even though it does provide some logistical problems at times, but I always like how it looks on TV. It just, it gives it like a special feeling. Like, of course, WrestleMania 9, for example, was like, I think that was the first one of those they did. And it looked cool. Like whatever you thought of the actual show or, Hulk Hogan coming in at the end and all that other stuff. But the look there at Caesar's Palace was cool. And anytime they go outside, it looks cool, I think.
Absolutely agree.
Even the Daly's place. I like that sort of weird setup they have. It just kind of looks a little bit different and cool.
I agree about Daly's place. If anything, they should just stick to that joint instead of going around. It looks better anyway. But you're right. No, absolutely. Well, anyway, fellas.
I know we don't want to compare, but I just want to say this. Just a quick synopsis. in comparison to Blood and Guts and War Games. I know you'll save this, Jimmy, for a future Survivor Series review, but I just want to say
Right.
it was funny when you look at the match. I don't know, Vet, if you saw it last night. I know you're a very busy man doing a lot of busy things here, but it's refreshing, Jimmy and Vet, that with War Games, Paul Levesque made a conscious effort to make both of those matches. And then, like I said weeks ago, how many nights, that Blood and Guts was going to beat it out the park because of what they do. They do a lot of blood and shit like that. But Triple H made a conscious effort to differentiate War Games matches between the women and the men. Women had the chains and they had the trash cans, Vet. And on the men's side, they had tables and chairs, and Logan Paul had brass knucks. They separated the weapons. It was refreshing to see that. And of course, you're not going to get the blood because TKO and WWE and stockholders and bullshit like that. That's the only negative part about that. But I found it refreshing, Vet, to see that War Games, they complemented each other in a different light. They thought about it. They did not want to do a repeat like Blood and Guts, a repeat between women and men doing blood spots, thumbtacks, kendo sticks, and all that stuff. It was refreshing. People might not have noticed that.
They probably didn't, but that's best. I think that's best when you're talking about the psychology of things like the card, as opposed to like individual matches or things. And even with individual matches, they're not supposed to be things that the fans can see. It's supposed to be subliminal. You're supposed to not realize what's happening. You're supposed to just feel something and be like, oh, I like this. I'm not sure why. That's the whole idea of it. Also, even if you want to say like, not as Blood and Guts or whatever, but I saw enough to see that Punk got busted open in the first however, many minutes at least. So, there was even blood there if you wanted it. So, even that.
That's what I thought, Jimmy. So that's just my take on it, and then we can move on.
No, it was a fun show, and that's all that matters, and as WWE always do. And no, we're not shilling for WWE for anyone concerned, but we're just stating the facts. It is what it is. But we are here to talk AEW. But before we do that, let's get into some news, shall we? Because we got Andrade, our idolo, talking about his non-compete clause with WWE. And this is what he said, because Andrade recently responded on Twitter denying a report from the Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer, surprise, surprise, about him signing a contract with AEW prior to his return to the company. Andrade also clarified his situation with AEW prior to his surprise return appearance and his non-compete clause situation with WWE. He goes on to say, I didn't sign any contract, sir. You say it with such certainty that I signed the contract when that's just another one of your lies. Do some research, sir. I was in negotiations to sign because Mr. Tony Khan and the AEW team were having good discussions and we came to an excellent agreement. And he goes on to say, I'm especially grateful to TK and AEW in general. Then I received a non-compete clause after my AEW debut and my first match in Tijuana at Crash. But I want to clarify that I didn't know if that was the issue with WWE. Honestly, I don't know the answer to that. And then he says something in Spanish, lo mejor para usted, USTED, whatever that is, if anyone knows.
The best for everyone? Judging on how you read it, I don't know. That's what it sounded like.
No, don't worry about it.
Well, it's LOMEJORPARA and then usted.
Yeah, the best for everyone.
Whatever that.
It's best for everyone.
Well,
we would say it's what's best for everyone. That's how we'd say it.
Okay. Well, he better say next time in Spanish to get a lawyer. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. But Vet, anything to say about that? Do you believe what he says?
Sure. No, I don't. Look, I read some statement that he made. I don't know if it was this exact one or something else.
Different one. I know what you're talking about. Though.
Yeah, he's so basically just saying like his lawyer was confused about the contract, and so that's why he wasn't clear on his start date. But he also said that he's not going to be out for a year. It's only going to be like 90 days. So from whenever that contract was, when he was released, you know, however many days it's been since then, we'll probably see him wrestle again in AEW, I'm sure.
Well, God willing. I mean, Prof.
He can go right back to beating up Kenny.
Well, yeah, I'll get to that actually.
Long-term storytelling, Vet. That's what we're missing right there.
Long term,
very long term. If people might have forgot that, you might have blinked and forget that Andrade beat up Kenny Omega for some strange reason. But you know, read the fine print of your contract. It is right there. It is what it says on it. But you know, I guess it was the supplements he was getting from Mexico or something like that, guys. So that was the issue that WWE and many corporate entities have very stringent drug policies, and they have a list. So if you don't read the list, get an interpreter, Andrade. That's number one. But again, neither here nor there. But get an interpreter so they can translate it into Spanish for you, and then you would understand that certain supplements, especially when we talk about Mexico and Canada, anything not in the U.S. list, guys, it's gonna be a problem. And that was the biggest major hurdle for Andrade right there. Maybe he would still be in WWE, maybe he would still be in catering, but again, or maybe he just knew that these were on the banned list and wanted to find it out. That was what he was trying to think of. But you know, again, corporate pettiness, WWE pettiness, TKO pettiness, they got you. That's all it is. And from a year to maybe 90 days, who knows? I don't think it's going to be 90 days. I think it's going to be 180 days. Just to add a little bit of petty salt right there. A little pinch.
Maybe a tad. Yeah. I don't want to put everybody's business on Front Street, but I mean, we owe it to the people to do our best to keep it 100. He knows exactly what the fuck is on the ban list and what isn't. He knows, and he may get confused because that's a shoot. In Mexico, they definitely have different regulations on what they do. But also, you also know that when those vials that you get have pictures of animals on them, you know that you're not supposed to be taking them anyway. So you don't really need a banned list to tell you, you know, when that horse is on the bottle, that's not for you. Okay. So let's just get that 100% straight for everybody who's like naive enough to believe anything a wrestler says.
Hey, if it works for a horse, it should work for me. I'm sorry.
It definitely should.
It should.
Oh, shit, you guys are characters. Well, sticking with AEW and WWE, I guess, we got more Jericho news. Well, take this with a grain of salt, of course, because it is Dave Meltzer reporting it. But he reported in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter that his sources, now I don't know what sources that is. Could it be tomato sauce? I have no idea. But his sources stated that the current belief is that Jericho will likely be leaving AEW for WWE once his contract expires. Mouse also reported that WWE officials have offered Jericho a retired storyline, and those spoken to stated that it's something they would be interested in doing for him if he returns to the company. Meltzer also reported that others within WWE currently expect him to be back in the company by early 2026, but nothing is confirmed at the moment. Prof, I'll go to you first. Would this put off Jericho? Do you think he even wants to retire?
It's kind of funny that they want to give him the story, you know, that storyline. Of course, you know, it's out of respect for Jericho's career, and I get all that, but I never got an inkling on AEW television. Guys, you could correct me if I'm wrong. Did Jericho ever have that, you know, those promos saying, you know what, I don't have it anymore. Maybe this is my last run. This is my last shot. That was something like Jeff Jarrett said. I remember that vividly, but not Chris Jericho. He had the learning. He always adapted to the next gimmick or to the next storyline, which he went from the inner circle to the learning tree. Whether you liked it or not, Jericho always adapts to the years. He tours with Fozzy whenever he gets that, free time for himself. So, he's having the run of his life again. But Jericho, I know he wants that Hall of Fame spot from WWE. Whether it's real or not, guys, I understand that. But he deserves that spot in that WWE Hall of Fame, whether it's, for 2027 or 2028, neither here nor there. But, he deserves that slot. Maybe that's the only way to get him there. To headline it? I don't think so, because I think John Cena might headline this coming Hall of Fame slot. So he might be a co-main event, but to get a storyline, Will he get the Sting treatment in the WWE side? No, he's not going to get that. So again, be careful what you wish for. Just get a good run, a good main event program. That's as far as it goes. But let's not call it a story. Let's not call it a retirement storyline. I just think that we're putting words. We're making assumptions that Jericho and WWE are trying to make do for themselves. That's the way I look at it.
Well said, Vet. What's your opinion on this matter with Jericho?
Speaking of contracts, I got a question. Does anybody know what happened to that 10-year contract he signed a couple years ago?
Good point.
That contract, if that's a real contract, that ain't coming up anytime soon. We got several more years on that contract. So I don't know what all this talk is about when my contract's up. He said he signed a 10-year contract. So unless he just plainly lied about that, or restructured it quietly when nobody was paying attention and didn't bother to tell anybody, then we got a different conversation. As far as I'm concerned, he ain't going nowhere until I hear different. Now, let's talk about Dave Meltzer. We know Dave Meltzer and Chris Jericho talk. Okay? It's not like a secret or even an open secret. We know that they talk. So Chris Jericho, being who he is going to tell Meltzer to say whatever he wants Meltzer to say, and Meltzer's going to do it. So if he wants Meltzer to put it out there that this shit is happening, whether that's true or not, that's just Dave doing what he's told for his friend, It's like doing a solid for your buddy. Okay? And that right there, is meant to sort of, if anything, kind of drive the price up, I guess, if there is some sort of a contract coming up or whatever that he's got to deal with Tony. Here's the thing, though. I hear people talk about this all the time. I hear fans, I hear other wrestlers, I hear, whether a podcast host like a Conrad or whoever, is a figure in the space, or the dirt sheet, other people, right? They all say the same thing. Oh, Chris Jericho's smart. He's just going to play up both sides and, he's going to get the best deal for himself because he's smart and he's playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers, and Chris Jericho this and Chris Jericho that. I got a question for you motherfuckers. If you dumbasses know that, do you think everybody else doesn't know that? You think Triple H is just sitting there like, duh, oh man, I want to get Chris Jericho back. You think everybody else is smart and the people who are actually dealing with him and paying him money are not smart? You think they couldn't figure it out? Even if they couldn't figure it out, you just told them. Everybody else just told all you guys that Chris Jericho is playing both sides. So I don't want to hear about how smart Chris Jericho is anymore. Okay? I don't give a shit about his retirement personally. I don't give a fuck what happens to Chris Jericho. I'm done with him. He's washed. It's over. I don't care if he disappears in the night or gets one last run or any fucking thing. I'm tired of Chris Jericho. Let's just move on. We should all move on.
Just to answer that, the 10-year contract, usually in most contracts like that. If it's a long term, because you're right, if you sign a 10-year contract, let's say in 2019, since the inception of AEW, 10 years is 2029. So he still has 4 more years to go. But usually there is a year where there's a cutoff that you start negotiating again. Sometimes it could be half, where it's 5 and you split and you have a negotiating window. And then we go from there. So I'm just saying, man, you never know. You never know.
Well, if he ends up on the low end of that negotiation, that just means he has to play out the rest of his contract, doesn't it?
Of course.
Yeah. And remember that Jeff Jarrett was supposed to have his final run for a world championship also this year. What happened to that?
Who cares?
He announces it and it disappears, literally. We haven't seen him since. But anyway.
Final battle, Jimmy.
Final
battle.
In TNA. Anyway. In other news, there's Kenny Omega news, and as we see, he's pretty much used sparingly these days. And as once again, our good old friend Dave Meltzer reported, he says that they don't, AEW don't want him to be in any sort of long-term singles feud. He's speaking that it might have been the reason why AEW officials made the decision to have Omega and the Young Bucks reunite as the Elite at their Full Gear 2025 event. Vet, is this the right move for Kenny? Do we have him now pretty much as a exhibition type of talent? Like, you know what I mean? Just use him for, I don't know, just pay-per-views here and there and not have really any meaningful storylines going forward with him. Singles ones, that is, anyway.
Yeah, I just like to tell Zane Vicious that all Pringles are salty. It's just too much salt these days. There's so much
Way too
sodium out
much.
there, guys. Be careful. Watch your blood pressure. What are we talking about? Kenny Omega.
Yes.
Well, there's a problem.
And what's
And this
that?
is a problem for wrestlers in general, especially those that get older. If you use a wrestler sparingly to save their health, every time they get in the ring, it feels worse and worse because you're not callousing your body to the rigors of constant activity. You know, hitting those ropes every night, hitting that mat every night, you know, overshooting your opponent and hitting your leg on the guardrail every night like Kenny does. You know, like those type of things, they get harder and harder to do the longer in between the times you do it. That's what The Undertaker was struggling with for all those years of his career. He extended his career to show up once or twice a year, but, you know, from his own, well, I mean, from the look of him and his own testimony, like, it got harder and harder for him to do it. So the less Kenny Omega is used, yeah, he's good for the rest of the time. That's good for him in the resting time. But then when he has to get in the ring, it's like, oh, fuck. The first bump he takes is going to be the most painful bump he's ever taken, you know, until the next time that he has to wait like 2 more months. So how do you get over this? Obviously, the most ring healthy person in wrestling right now has got to be Mark Briscoe. He's the only person that works as often as a wrestler used to work. So, and he's not getting hurt. So, you know, I think the key for Kenny is you want Kenny as a draw on your TV show. You want the fans of his to watch the show to see him. So you got to give him something to do, and you got to keep him involved in, if you need to hide that with tags, 6-mans or 8-mans or whatever, just so that he gets ring time and keeps his conditioning up and his bump card, you know, or his body callus or whatever I don't know if there's an official wrestling insider term for it. But to keep that going, you know, he's got to have some ring activity because otherwise it's just going to really hurt. If he's still recovering from his diverticulitis and his surgeries and all that other stuff, because it takes a long time. It's a slow recovery for that. So if you want to talk about taking enough time to fully recover, and we talked about this before here on the Wreckage, I said the same thing. I was like, it's better to get 100% healed and be out for longer than to try to come back too early and stay hurt for a long time and then try to work through it again. That was the whole problem in the first place. So, but we know that Kenny's not the brightest spoon in the shed. We know he's just going to do whatever. It doesn't matter. The fans don't have any sympathy for him. They don't care. They just want to see what they want to see. They're not thinking about these things. They don't know these things. So to answer your question, I don't know.
After all that. Prof, well, what's your opinion on Kenny Omega?
I mean, that just nailed it on the head. I mean, we don't know, but I'll look at it from this standpoint. You know, if we've grown with Kenny Omega from New Japan days, the Bullet Club days, but we also grown with him with the style he does from the New Japan strong style, putting a lot of exertion on his body and stuff like that. It takes a toll, just like Vet says. So once you get older, you cannot keep up that regimen no matter what you do. Even if you go part-time, it will still put a toll on your body. And to add on diverticulitis, it's even worse on that, Jimmy. So I look at it from that standpoint. So he's got to work smarter, not harder. So, you know, the best for himself, best for his friends and family like that. Does he really need the Elite? He was already running with the Jurassic Express. He was a great replacement for Marco Stunt, and he has the bushy hair. So we got Kenny Stunt. We didn't need him to be reunited with the Elite. He was with the Jurassic Express. If anybody needs a rub, it's not Young Bucks, it's the Jurassic Express. So if he was hanging with them, you can do these storylines with the Don Callis family, which they were doing. And then what? You want to add the Elite to make it one big? I don't want to use that conglomeration word, but then you add the Jurassic Express with the Young Bucks as the total Elite. I don't know. It's just it's
total
hokey.
Elite.
Yeah, it's hokey.
Professor, I think you hit on it though. I think you found the answer. It's the great compromise. You have 2 tag teams you're with now. So now Kenny appears exclusively in 10-man tags from here on out.
There you
Oh,
go.
no. Don't
Yep.
say
And
that.
they can main event every collision, and Jimmy will be totally happy.
Oh, wait, man. I got
I'm a fan
more.
of Kenny.
We can make a title. Tony Khan could have the 10-man titles.
The 10-man titles.
Oh,
Yes.
fuck.
That's 5 new belts in one shot.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it works.
This
Hey,
is
you
going to
guys-
smash the belt count records at Hameen Media Group, and Brandon is going to lose his mind.
I was actually on the watch along with him this past
But
Wednesday.
You know, not for nothing, but Jimmy, the 10-man titles is the perfect titles for the Don Callis family. I'm just saying.
Please, if you
It
guys
works for
conjure that
them.
shit,
And he's still even with 5 guys to choose from, he's still going to put out Rocky Romero and Trent and all these bums like to try to win them, and they won't do it.
It works.
Anyway.
please, guys, don't conjure that shit. I just want to.
Oh,
ask,
and Cold Blooded says, and every match is for $1 million. That's right.
Oh, please, no, don't you do that either, Cold
The
Blooded.
10-man $1 million title. It's like the Ted DiBiase belt, but 5 of them. And then every match, there's a big bag with a $sign on it.
TN Couponer, do your job. Tweet Tony Khan, the 10-man $1 million titles. Do it right now, TN Couponer, please.
Yeah, we'll clip this whole thing, send it to Tony and Kenny.
Well, anyway, in the last bit of news, and I'm not expecting you guys to say anything about this because it's more tabloid, but Lash Legend and Trick Williams get engaged this week, so congratulations to them. If you guys want to chime in, go ahead, but I don't expect you guys to. So,
but I'm happy for Lash, not for getting married. That's something nobody should have to go through. But but she made her big pay-per-view debut, last night.
yeah,
so
absolutely.
good job. I didn't get a chance to watch it, so I don't know if she showed out, but it's a big cool step for somebody that Ray and I have been, following along in their career from when she first got on the scene, and us being like, she's absolutely rotten, to actually being one of those people that can go from being god awful to improving to the point where we want to see her succeed, and like, okay, she's fixed the things that she needed to fix, and now she's on her way. It's that's rare. Usually if somebody gets earmarked early, especially by me, they never dig their way out. So I'm happy that she proved me wrong.
Absolutely. Prof, anything to say about Lash Legend?
Keeping with the Thanksgiving tradition, guys, Trick Williams wanted the yams, and Lash Legend got yams.
She definitely
He's thankful
does.
for the yams.
Well, as Zilla says, your boy Vet, he says Lash Legend can get it.
That's right.
Kenny says, whenever Lash Legend is talked about, I think of Lash LaRue. Remember Lash LaRue, guys, in WCW back in the day?
Not confuse Lash Legend with Lash LaRue, is it?
I know, please.
There's no way to actually do that, but
Well, there's one more piece of news before we start sifting. And now I'm just going to leave it to you guys. Do you guys want to talk about Ric Flair's claims about Hulk Hogan's death was caused by street drugs? Anybody?
no.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys, I'll just quickly touch on it. Well, Prof, did you hear about it at all?
Well, he's trying to sway people from thinking it was the Woo energy drink that killed Hulk Hogan. That's what it was. So now he says street drugs. But if you check Hulk Hogan's fridge, it was the Woo energy drinks. And it was like, Flair's just trying to say, distance himself from that.
That mushroom elixir.
Yes.
Speaking of, Malaka Jones says, Jimmy eats ostrich and snake for Australian Thanksgiving. No thanks. Please. Okay. Keep me away from those two things. Anyway,
Obviously, it's emu. This guy doesn't even know his geography.
there are ostriches too,
Yeah.
I'm just saying. They are similar.
Jimmy, you do turkey or you do ostrich? I just want to know.
Definitely not ostrich. I do turkey sometimes though.
Okay.
The thing about turkey though, for me, it's a bit too sweet.
No, because I was actually thinking if I went to your house in Australia and then if I went to your house in Australia for the Thanksgiving, Australian style, and I'm like, oh my God, you got snake and stuffing. I'm like, I'm gonna be cordial and eat it. I just want to make sure it's not, I'm just prepare me. That's all I'm asking.
That's nice of you, actually, Prof.
Well,
Very
people say
respectful.
snake tastes like chicken, so we're still in the avian theme here of the holiday.
Gotcha.
And they also say crocodile and alligator taste like chicken, supposedly.
Add some hot sauce. Add that hot sauce. It's all good to go.
Apparently, with hot sauce is what you eat it with. So I don't know, but I wouldn't touch it either way. Fellas, I'm gonna actually turn it to you now, Vet. I think it's time we sift through the wreckage.
The wreckage. All right, we're sifting already. Okay.
Yeah, good time.
I wasn't ready. Let me get ready. Let me pull up the notes here. Okay, and I'm ready. So, guys, it's Continental season.
Yep.
Wait, there is a caveat to the Continental Classic, guys. We have to at least point this out. Remember all that great booking from Tony Khan months ago to unify the Continental and the international titles to make it the unified titles? How many nights? I kind of remember that. Y'all remember that, right?
That pissed me off.
Okada has to de-unify the Continental belt to put it on the line, so he is not anymore a unified champion, but he's still the international champion. But now he's, again, I'm so confused here, guys. I'm just so confused. What happened to the unified belt? It's gone.
I think he's trying to artificially run up the belt count. I think he's a Hami Media Group subscriber.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to run up the count. So he can win the Facebook group thing, whatever. I don't know how that works. I haven't had Facebook.
I just wanted to point that out for logistics for the Hami Nights. It's just like, again, the logistics is weird. He has to de-unify, so he makes a match that happened in All in Texas meaningless. He just wanted a match just to have the match. Just proves my point.
Right.
That's the past now.
Yeah, you don't even really need to. You don't even really need to do that. I mean, once a belt gets absorbed, that should be it. That should be a wrap. But here we are. And speaking of belts, as Tennessee Couponer reminds us, I'd forgotten already because I wanted to, but apparently, at some point over the weekend, Claudio Castagnoli won the CMLL World title.
I didn't know that, but thanks for pointing it out. As Josh also pointed it out.
No, I'm giving him credit for pointing it out. He tweeted it also, and he tagged at least myself and the professor.
You probably tagged me too. I haven't been on Twitter
because there is a story that's going to happen because of this. We can see it. Hopefully, Tony can see it because we've been talking about this for weeks. We've been talking about John Moxley giving up, tapping out so quickly. Is he going to lose his leadership spot in the Death Riders with people like Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia? And who's going to step up? Is it going to be Pac? Is it going to be Claudio? Well, now Claudio, because he has a prestigious belt, guys, can now say he's the leader of the Death Riders. But we haven't seen it matriculate on television. We haven't seen those ominous stares. We haven't seen people. We haven't seen people want to manifest it. And I'm talking about the sickos here. I mean, sickos see what they want to see. God bless y'all. I'm with you, but I'm just logistics, guys. I don't see it manifest on TV. And eventually, it's not a question of if, it's just a question of when they will take out John Moxley. But again, with Claudio being the champion, now can he be the leader? We'll debate that on another time.
And would he be the leader?
He'll carry this belt on TV and they'll barely mention it. Like Sockface will scream something about it. Oh, Claudio won the CML World title. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that right now, but just keep that in your mind, as we go through this, that they think that little of their company that they gave a belt to Claudio. But here we have a Gold League match. It is Kyle Fletcher versus Kazuchika Okada to open up this entire tournament. What a crazy start. Whoa. And of course it's two Callis family members together. So that adds that layer of intrigue. Another layer of intrigue is how much tinier can Kyle Fletcher's trunks get? That is another question that we have to ask ourselves. This got a holy shit chant before anything happened. So at least the crowd definitely was into it before, you know, they didn't have to win them over. They were ready for this. So, you know, I mean, pretty good stuff here. There was a funny spot where Okada like took his foot and pushed Rick Knox into the ropes so that Kyle Fletcher crotched himself on the top rope trying to come off. And then the referee looks at him and Okada's like, oh, I'm sorry. And then, you know, then later on, Kyle Fletcher does the same thing, returns the favor. And there was also another spot where they did a superplex and they both sold it for a double down. Can you imagine? Can you imagine a superplex in 2025? People acting like it hurts.
I wonder who's amazing. That was funny enough.
Incredible. Yeah, I mean, they didn't sell it for long, but still, you know,
baby steps.
It was something.
Baby steps.
Yeah, there was no Falcon's Arrow. There was no, you know, small package afterwards. There was no, you know, they sold it. They both sold it. It was incredible. Jimmy, you'll like this. A rare heavy rain from Okada. When was the last time you saw a heavy rain?
A long time. It's been years, probably, actually, since the last time we've seen that. I mean, why has he not used the heavy rain in so long, you think?
Because he never uses stuff for no reason. He just,
Okada,
once in a while, he breaks out just a little something, just for the difference.
To answer your question, Jimmy, is because it's the Continental Classic. It's one of the biggest tournaments in the world. So you got to pull out all the stops. And he hasn't used that in years.
I'm going to assume he probably likes Fletcher, and that's probably why he used it, you know, made him look like $1 million, as he does in this matchup, of course, because obviously the winner.
Yeah, so he goes for a Rainmaker, and Kyle ducks it, gets a victory roll on him, and big upset. So
huge upset.
So Kyle Fletcher,
really?
you know.
Is it really?
I think it is.
Why? No, I'm not.
Maybe
not
not
even
to the
joking.
sickos.
Just because Okada's only lost like 3 matches in AEW, and two of them have been to Kyle Fletcher. So
no, I can understand that, but this is not the Kyle Fletcher from United Empire. This is Kyle Fletcher already the TNT champion. He's main evented against Adam Page and shit like that. I'm just saying, like, is that stock? I'm not saying he's equal footing to Okada. I'm just saying that, like, to me, I don't look at it as an upset. I look at it for points purposes and storyline purposes. Again, the only story coming out is the Don Callis family infighting between Okada and Takeshita, and they're both in different leagues. So with this, and of course, Kyle Fletcher felt some type of way not having his boys, like he said, at Full Gear. I need to be in this tournament to prove myself to everybody. So he's beating the best. So I don't look at it as an upset to me. Maybe I'm wrong here.
It's an upset, but you know, in sports there can be a mild upset or a huge upset. I mean,
very mild.
Yeah,
not hot and spicy, but very mild.
Not hot and spicy, but it is a mild upset. You know, just a little bit. You're gonna, you know, one little shot of Pepto should take care of it.
Oh, well, the perception with the AEW sickos particularly, it's not an upset because they look at Fletcher as a main event guy in AEW, 100%. But maybe to Vet and you probably, Prof, but I know what you're saying, right? It's Okada. We probably don't. I know me and Vet don't look at Fletcher like that way just yet. But obviously, we're aware that he's a main W. I just don't feel that, you know what I mean? He's that guy just yet for me. That's just my opinion. Right. But he's getting there.
I'm just saying again, the sickos, he's not there. He's not on Okada's level yet. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying I don't look at it. I got the mild upset, Vet. I'm just saying it's maybe semi-mild.
Yeah, semi-mild. But anybody that's protected anytime they lose. And really the only time Okada kind of loses is in these because somebody's got to lose in a round robin tournament.
Right.
You know, it's like the only time Okada would ever lose is in G1s or things like that where somebody had to beat him. Like he rarely ran the table. You know what I mean? So it's like, and that also gives people an out because it's like a grueling thing that you're like, well, of course you're going to lose. But if you lose right out the gate, you know, it's a little different. But
plus this story also is about Okada coming back from the bottom, you know what I mean, to rise to the top. We know who's going to win this. Come on. And
Well,
then
yeah, they want it. They
otherwise.
obviously setting this whole thing up, right? Now
100%.
the only problem is, okay, so you make it obvious that you're going with Okada and Takeshita, right?
Right,
You
that's
make
my
that so
point.
obvious that I feel like he's just going to
Swerve us?
you just to not do it because it's so obvious. Like, you know, I don't know, like having Samoa Joe go over at the, the cage match.
Unusual, to be fair.
You know what I'm saying? Like just so it's not predictable, but that's sometimes predictable is the correct choice.
Right.
So it's up to the booker to know when that is for the best business. But it's his business, so he gets to decide. Lexi asks Omega about his situation. And then, he says whatever, and then the door closes, and then the door opens back up, and the Bucks come out of his room. So,
It looked weird.
I'm sure everything is.
That did you see the baby oils fly out?
It looked
You
weird.
saw it. I'm not kidding here. I'm must have been the turkey. I must have had early turkey, but I saw baby oil flying out of that locker room.
As long as Larry wasn't in there, that's the only important thing. So
what a visual.
So Briscoe, this is a Briscoe promo after Full Gear. And of course it's a Mark Briscoe promo, so it's already a 10 out of 10. He basically says all the failures led to this moment because family was on the line, and when family's on the line, then it's serious. So a bloody Mark Briscoe reveling with his TNT championship and dedicating it to his brother Jay.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So, when you see stuff like this, it's like, okay, so basically you just put this in Mark Briscoe's hands, right? And then he delivers. But the other stuff on the show is so disingenuous and corny. Why can't we have more? It would be a lot more palatable overall of a show if we had more stuff that felt a little more genuine like this. So I just, I don't like the genuine part to be the outlier.
Right.
It's like the WWE would be like serious, and then like Santino would do a comedy spot, and then the rest of the show be serious, kind of like that. But this is like the opposite. It's like everything's a joke, and then there's like one nice genuine moment. So I think we need more genuine moments.
They're weirdos, AEW.
but not to nitpick, guys. I just want to remind the Hami Knights in the chat. He said all this stuff when he won the ROH title too.
Mm-hmm.
Not rinse. I'm not trying to say rinse and repeat. It's again a great promo and all that stuff. I'm just saying, like, if the ROH title meant that much to him too, because Jay actually held that belt, which to me I would say that means more. And for the TNT title, Tony has messed that belt up so many times. And we don't even, with all the belts there, we don't even know what's prestigious, what's palatable, what's actually comparable to the world title.
Prestigious.
Again, Jimmy, I'm just trying to say, I'm not
exactly.
defending.
I agree.
We don't even know which one is the number 2 belt. TNT belt was supposed to be the number 2 belt. So Mark Briscoe said a hell of a promo. I loved it too, but again, he said this. It's a rinse and repeat promo to me.
Well, he's got to say it, even if it is, because you can't just say, it's just another belt. You can't say that. So you gotta do the other thing. And another famous wrestler that passed away, also held this belt. So it is prestigious in its own way. So, Brody Lee. So, maybe it is the number 2 belt in the company, and maybe he can make sure it's the number 2 belt, especially if we can't even decide how many belts are being defended in the Continental Classic. So, so the sisters versus the babes, Dark Sisters.
The Dark Sisters. Let me say that.
Let's get Jimmy in there with that.
I just gotta get it. I should always have it ready, but I'll have it in a second.
Have it ready, I think it would be nice.
I should.
The Dark Sisters. Fatality.
All right. Yeah, it was fatal. All right. So I want to point out something to the, we talked about a little bit about the card psychology earlier with Professor talking about how the War Games matches and everything. So I didn't mention this during the first match, but in the opening match, Okada and Fletcher did a prolonged series of spots to open the thing where it was like they went to kick each other and they would catch each other's legs and be like, okay, put the leg down. Like they kept doing a little bit of comedy, then a little bit serious, then back to comedy. Like the more they do it, it gets funnier because they keep doing it. Like okay, we keep catching each other's foot. We should probably stop kicking. Like that, and they calm everything down, right? So that's their little opening. This is a fun way to get the crowd interested, but we don't actually do anything. It's called working, guys. It's called working.
Exactly.
Okay? The opening of this match with these women. They do, I'm going to kick you and you catch my leg spot. Are you fucking shitting me with this? Like, you just saw these guys do this better than you're ever going to do anything in your life, including your whole match. Don't do the same things that the other matches do. Watch the other matches when you are in the back.
Just pointed that out. I just pointed that out, Jimmy. That's what I said with War Games. You just notice the little things, the little nuances, and bookers, match producers should tell these women to do that stuff.
But
not to do. That's what I'm saying.
Well, apparently
I mean, like, think about it. It's one thing if you like the opening match is like headlock, tackle, drop down, get it again. And then the second match does headlock, tackle, drop down, get it again. That's just like, okay, that sucks. I already saw that, but that's way more common than I'm going to kick you, you catch my foot, and then I'm going to beg you to put my foot down. Like, that's not something that's going to happen 2 times in a row. So anyways, who cares about the rest of the match? Dr. Bomb to Dark Julia, and the Babes of Wrath are moving on. So, Professor, is this the right thing, or do you think the Dark Sisters needed this one a little bit more?
Who needed it more? That's a great question, but who needed it more? I like the Babes of Wrath because it's a feel-good story, guys. That's just the way I look at it. Again, they actually had the I guess you could call it the hot and spicy upset of the tournament. They beat Athena and Mercedes Moné. No one expected that. So you have a feel-good team.
I'm still sick from that.
I know. When you have a feel-good team, a feel-good moment, the Babes of Wrath is on a quest for destiny. And they should be the inaugural tag team champions, even though that a lot of, like you said, that you don't want to make it predictable because sometimes predictable is safe, but also just makes sense. A lot of us thought maybe in the beginning it should have been maybe Tony and Mina Shirakawa should be the inaugural ones, to give it a little bit of clout and give it some name. But I don't mind a feel-good moment. I'm actually surprised that they got this far because, again, I was like, Mercedes and Athena is going to win it, going to rush through the finals. They didn't do it. That's good unpredictability. So, again, I don't mind the feel-good moment.
Well, time will tell if that's good unpredictability, I think. Time will tell on that one. Jimmy, what did you think? Was this the right choice? Do you like the Babes or do you like the Dark Sisters?
No, I prefer the Babes for sure, man. You know what I mean?
Even though one of them's Australian?
Yeah, but it's more of a feel-good thing in the underdog story. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just makes more sense.
She's from the south side of Australia, so
she's from I'm from the southeast side of Australia. Think of Florida, if you know what I mean. Anyway, but not that down because there's Tasmania too. But what I was going to say, it just made sense for these two to go over because, look, man, I'll be honest.
Because the Dark Sisters never beat anybody?
Well, there's that. But Julia sucks, man.
Oh.
I feel like Sky Blue's actually improved a lot compared to...
Not for nothing, Jerry. You just reminded me. Vet, did you see that moment in the match where she did the flip and then she landed on her feet and then splashed her down? And
my God. Thank you for reminding me.
And the IWC Twitter railed on her. Again, sometimes
that was bad, Prof. That was a bad spot. She wasn't meant to do that.
I don't want to defend Julia. Again, math is hard. Calculus. I'm not saying I'm a student of calculus, but again, move a little back, Julia, so this way you could do your somersault. That's all it is.
Literally, she totally missed her, but at least she thought on the spot. I'll give her credit for that. She didn't panic. She totally missed her. And then went for a splash, and the commentators
Jimmy, the worst thing,
drop.
Jimmy, the worst thing she would have done is landed on her feet and then went back to the ropes to try to do it again.
Right, that would have been bad. Right, so I agree. I think I'll give her credit for that. She did compromise and didn't panic. You know what I mean? But the commentators saying that it was an elbow drop instead of a splash was stupid too.
You got to save it. You got to save shit. That's what it is.
It is what it is.
Well, that's what happens when you learn to moonsault before you can walk.
Jeez. Yeah, it was
So,
pretty bad.
We call that the Teddy Hart.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
So Tony Schiavone brings out Samoa Joe and the Ops for a nice celebration of his new world title win. Swerve and Hang Person, though, pull up.
With chains.
And they got chains. Yeah, they each got a chain. And Swerve was supplied with a staple gun from
that wasn't working.
Prince Nana. Oh, well. You know.
Did you notice that no one had staples? Come on.
Well, you know, I always thought.
Don't go to Lowe's, go to Home Depot, and your staplers will work.
It was a fake fucking. Well, there was no staples in it.
Yeah. Anyway, so Joe tells Shibata, "Hey, go get." Did he say go get the scrubs?
Yeah,
I think that's what he said. And then he comes back with the security, you know, the locals. And then Joe brings out Hook, and you know, Hook starts to say something, but then Swerve's music hits, the new music, and then Hang Person's music hits, the old music.
Oh, it was the old music this time, wasn't it?
He did use the old music, so I still haven't heard whatever that was at the pay-per-view yet, because I haven't gone back and watched, and I don't think I'm going to. But yeah, you could tell that Hangman is troubled because he took a shot at the bar before he came out.
Yeah.
You know, fuck around and turn me back to the old me.
And once again, we had like attempted murder in the ring.
Oh,
by
yeah,
two of them, or both of them.
Yeah, you know. Well, they all go out there and beat up the security that's there to get beat up. The Ops powder, because fuck that. Why would I deal with these two psychopaths? And who could blame them? And then they hang the security guards by chains until the music plays to let them know it's over. I guess Tony Khan was back there with his finger on the button, is like, "Oh, it's gone too far. Hit the music.
It's gone too far.
They're gonna die. I fear for my life."
I'll just say this: if anybody needs their old music back, is Hook. That new music that he's coming out to is horrible, and you can hear a pin drop when he comes out, even with that new music. It's like, what happened to Hook? I mean, 2 years ago, Hook was on the rise. He was the next big thing. He was on
we were his biggest fans, Prof. No shit.
He was on the levels of Dirty Dom and all that stuff. And again, he had his injuries and stuff like that. Of course, momentum, you know, swings away, but he was supposed to be the next man up and the guys to look out for in the next couple of years. And he comes out to shitty music, no aura. Bring back his old music. He should be
no backpack, no chips.
Yeah, he should be the Ops scrubs. That's what he should be right now. He hasn't earned a spot in the Ops. He needs to be an Ops scrub.
Man,
how low can he go, Prof? Come on. I just want to shout out Lab Rat, by the way. He says, "Howdy, everyone. Just woke up. Give me the jaws of life for this wreckage."
I imagine it was a late night for Lab Rat.
Well, he tested his.
Yeah,
they tested.
They tested a PLE on him.
They did.
And there are side effects.
And I just want to say thank you for the pictures too, Lab Rat. I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah. So we have another After Full Gear promo from John Moxley. So
yeah.
And again, just correct me if I'm wrong, Ved and Jimmy. When you looked at that promo, everything's all right. We're gonna move on to the next subject. You could say, all I'm asking for, where's the look of Pac being disgusted with what John Moxley is saying? Where's the look of not confusion?
I did see a little bit of I felt a little bit at first, and then he went back to normal. So I don't know what to think.
There was a look. That's all I'm asking for. As long as we got that look, now we know what we can look forward to. That's what we can look forward to.
Did you see any little bit of look, in your opinion?
No, I wasn't paying attention, but I mean, because I heard what he was saying. I wasn't really watching the screen per se, so I don't know if anybody was giving him looks. I just remember him saying stuff like, "Who cares if I lost the match? Who cares if I lose a match tomorrow?" Like he was basically trying to excuse himself. Like, well, who cares if I lose any matches? Which, yeah, that's the most inspiring speech I've ever heard, man.
Yeah, he's saying there's always tomorrow. So,
Well, it's his turn now because it's a Blue League match. We're back to live, and it's Moxley versus Máscara Dorada. And yeah, this guy still sucks. They both suck. Now you got two guys that suck. And he chokes him out. Moxley chokes Dorada out. Then Tony Storm hits the ring.
Oddly.
Yeah. And then she says that she's decided that her stipulation is going to be a hardcore holiday death match, whatever the hell that is. And Marina wants to kill her on the spot. And Moxley won't let her for some reason. Like, I don't know what he has. I mean, he's tried to kill plenty of people, but the moment Marina wants to get in some action on another female, he's like, no. Yeah. So
is that that's the examples of contention? That's the example of
soft.
Right. That Moxley is not writing the ship right, Vet. That's what I'm trying to do. Again, I'm trying to give the story where they're not giving a story. That's what it is.
So you're doing their job for them, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Trying to make sense of this foolishness is what you're doing.
I'm just trying because again, it's gonna be she's gonna be the catalyst to give the signal to either Pac or Claudio to take out Moxley. When? I don't know when.
Maybe I can see that. I can see that.
I hope, and I don't mean this to sound like, arrogant or whatever the term might be, but I hope everyone is, especially here in Hami Media Group and the chat and everything. I hope you guys are all very thankful. It's the thankful season. I hope you're thankful that, the professor is trying to string this mess along with a thread of continuity here.
I was going to say that.
It's so brilliant. And I just want to gloss over all this because it's hopeless.
I know
Professor.
But I know you do, but then I can foreshadow it right now, Vet, that Tony Khan does watch this and he will use what you said weeks ago. You wanted wanted it for Sting, but Marina Shafir will hold Renee hostage just for you.
Oh my God.
This will happen. You'll get your wish, and I'll be like, there you go.
I see it.
It's a Christmas miracle.
I see it. It's like a vision.
Yes.
It's like a vision. Will they go further though, Prof, and actually get their kid involved?
I don't know if they want to go that far. They've
done it already with Hangman.
They have a little morals here. That's all I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Right. And technically, Hangman's kid never made an on-screen appearance. Right, it was implied that it was in a crib when Swerve put a T-shirt in there. So
right.
He was just giving the kid some merch and a blanket. It wasn't really anything bad. I don't know what Hangman was so bent out of shape about. Well, except for the B&E. All right. So speaking of Renee, she asked Statlander, "Hey, what's next?" And in her long, rambling, boring way, she said, "The future." Okay. Cool. Gold League match. Darby Allin versus Kevin Knight.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm glad that this guy won for one reason. He dominated the match, and for once, the guy that dominated the match won the damn match.
Mm-hmm.
That never happens in AEW, so I'm glad for that.
Was this the right move, Professor? Another upset, surely.
This is
much more than a mild one.
Yeah, this is hot and spicy. I will give you that. I'm just gonna ask this question, the predictability, Vet. That's what you always say. Sometimes predictable is safe, but sometimes predictable is right. For the Continental Classic, there's always gonna be that one person in either league that's gonna have to take the L's. Has to have 0 points. I actually thought it was gonna be Jet Speed. They were one or the other was gonna cancel each other out and just be the zeros and maybe just have one win.
He's trying to make stars now, Prof. That's why.
Oh, Kevin's gonna lose the next 5 matches in a row. It's not.
Oh, gotcha.
But we start out with something good, and you put Darby in the hole.
Right. And Darby doesn't
strong win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a strong win for Kevin Knight. Yeah, you're right.
Very, very strong win. I want to put over Darby some more because he's one of the only 5 guys in this company that get it. So I also, like I just said, I gloss over a lot of stuff and I bury a lot of people. So it's only fair
to be
the professor here. I'm not going to be out-fared by the professor. I'm going to be fair. And I'm going to say nice things when people deserve it. So there was a spot where Kevin Knight gives Darby Allin a monkey flip. Darby Allin hits his leg on the rope after the monkey flip. Now, whether this was an accident because Kevin Knight was too far over out of the middle of the ring, or whether this was a planned spot that Darby Allin had, he sold his leg. So even though his leg was fine, but because he ended up hitting his leg in the ropes, which fucking hurts if you ever do it. It definitely hurts, but because those ropes are hard as shit. But he sold it and he kept selling it. So, like I said, either way, if it was an accident, he went with it. If it was a planned spot, then he pulled it off. And it wasn't necessarily the story of the match because Kevin Knight did not work on his leg during the match at all.
Right,
but he would still grab it and limp here and there. And then, I knew he wasn't hurt because he just kept doing his spots when it was time. But he would still go back to use the Seth Rollins method of, well, as long as I grab it, it counts as selling. But after Kevin hit he did like a twisting frog splash, It's like when RVD would change directions in midair. Right. So that's what Kevin does that for the finish here and beats Darby, who's already beaten up from his match at Full Gear and, everything else. And the burns and everything. so after that, after that, Darby kept selling. After he lost, he just sold. And Kevin even gave him the sportsmanship. And Darby was selling it like he was out of it, like he didn't even know where he was. And he shook his hand without even acknowledging him. He didn't just get up. He didn't get up, raise his hand, do the point to the baby face thing or anything. He just, as soon as he shook hands with Kevin, he just fell back over on the mat. And the last thing you saw was Darby lying on the mat, So it just goes to show you guys the most important thing is always selling, no matter what that selling means. It doesn't necessarily have to be selling pain. It could be selling the fact that you lost. It could be selling the fact that you won. It could be selling anything, but you have to sell. If you just get up and go to the next thing, nothing means anything. And I feel like 90% of this company is full of guys that just go to the next thing,
Facts.
Very true. Very true.
Eddie Kingston doesn't want to talk about Hook for some reason. And he does want to have a match with Chabelo on Collision. So I guess we're going to get that. And
how did you not mention Hook though, man? By the way,
well, he did. He just said he mentioned him to say he didn't want to mention him.
Yeah, but
I can translate this. Jimmy. I can
angry, right?
No. I can translate this, Jimmy. Well, vets will say I'm just trying to save this because it didn't make sense. But he is so despondent by what Hook did. He took his friendship and pissed it away to go back to Samoa Joe, go back to the ops. So he doesn't know how to articulate it just now.
No, I get that. He's angry, he's pissed off, to the point where, like you said, he can't
Well, there's even more. There's even more to that though, which we're just not there yet because it hasn't been Collision yet. So we'll revisit this momentarily.
Mm-hmm.
First, we got to talk about, and I mean by talk about, I mean gloss over a Blue League match with Claudio Castagnoli, not yet CMLL champion, versus Orange Cassidy.
Oh,
that's Jimmy's review. One syllable review.
Shit, I hated this match.
Yeah, Professor, anything to say?
It's hard to talk about this match knowing what he is now, the CMLL champion, right? So I'm looking at it. I'm sorry that I have to look at it from that standpoint, guys. But now I'm thinking, you have one of the most prestigious belts in the world. Why are you in this match? Why are you in this tournament? Why? For a belt that doesn't mean nothing, for a belt that's been deunified, for a belt that's been devalued even more by Tony Khan. He doesn't need to prove himself in this. And again, I know that maybe I'm trying to gloss over and give Tony Khan some ideas, but to show that leadership, to be that new leader of the Death Riders, he could take himself out of the C2, right? And say, you know what, Daniel, take my place. I don't need this now. I'm beneath it now. I got the belt. And John Moxley could look at it like, he could laugh. Maybe he could be like, oh, yeah, do that. You don't need this. And just, but again, just show that.
What about Takeshita, for example, who's the IWGP champion?
No. But he wanted to be in the match just to fuck with Okada.
Because of
There's a
Okada,
difference.
right?
Yeah,
True,
it's
I
all
guess.
because of Okada. Claudio doesn't need this. Now the match is what it is because Claudio and Orange Cassidy have fought each other. You know, he's gonna spin him around and all that stuff. He wants to treat Orange like Darby, but Orange got boundaries. Let's be fair here. So the match is what it is, but you know, he wants to treat him like a rag doll. But again, I'm just looking at it from he's already the champion. Now you could do something better with this. Now you can do something storyline driven, and take himself out and just put one of the Death Riders in just to cause contention.
That would be a good idea, but if they do it, they're definitely listening. Put it that way.
I hope so.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, whatever happens, Orange gets an uppercut and loses. So there you go. 3 points for Claudio. Renee decides she wants to do her job in the ring now and ask somebody a question, I guess Claudio. And then Orange starts a schmoz. The sore loser that he is starts a schmoz with the entire Death Riders crew. And, so of course that brings out the conglomeration and all these people. And basically everybody that's in the tournament comes out to the ring and starts having a fight, except Okada just stands there. It's like, yeah, I'm not getting in there with that.
This is lazy for a finish as well, for an ending of a show. Bad.
We got to go. Good night.
Yeah. They're trying to do a nitro.
Before we go into Collision, guys, let's go into hindsight. I just want to ask both of you guys this question. Who needed to be in this tournament and who would you take out? Because to me, I don't think Darby needs to be in this tournament. I don't even think Orange needs to be in this tournament because they've been there too many times.
Even Claudio.
Even Moxley, you could say. I'm just saying, who needed to be in this tournament so this way you could get the shine on them and just say, you know what, watch out for this guy in 2026.
My brain cannot process that question because everybody in AEW needs whatever. Like this is a company of needing whatever. So like I can't even break down like, oh well, this person could, because it's like they all need it. They and nobody's like what we were just talking about with Hook. We were just talking about with anybody, like any of these people. So it's the thing what made the G1 like a fun event for fans to watch is the idea of, first of all, a singles match in and of itself is a rarity in New Japan. It's only for a title match or like a specific grudge match. Other than that, everything is like 6 and 8 man tags.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
That's true.
right. So G1 is like playoff ball, right? And you got to see people that you would never see fight because they'd be in the same faction, so they'd never have a reason to fight. And the whole tournament was the question of, well, who's going to win this? Because I never see this, when you got matches like this all year round and then you just do them again, the novelty is a little bit off. So it doesn't have the same, it's still kind of interesting in a way, but it just doesn't have the same flavor.
I understand that, because
it's like having a mid-season tournament in the fucking NBA. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like the dumbest shit ever. Like that's kind of what it's like to draw a sports analogy.
And I don't want to disrespect New Japan, but the G1 has been watered down because the premise was to get the main event slot at Wrestle Kingdom, right? And for the last 2 years, they even said that the winners of the G1 don't constitute selling out the Tokyo Dome or giving accurate and accessible number of tickets to sell out. They've had to cash in even earlier than that. I would never do that. Hindsight is like, I want to win the G1 and I want to main event Wrestle Kingdom. They went away from that concept for the last 2 or 3 years. So that's even bad in itself. So, again, with the C2, certain people have been in there too much. And it's funny enough that Eddie Kingston, who's been injured for the last year and a half, should have been in this to get his own redemption to be in the C2 too. It already writes itself. And again,
right.
But really, it should be for up and comers. You know what I mean? Technically, the tournament, I think, to build your next star.
I mean, it worked better when you had all the stars. It's like you don't want to again, to bring up another sports thing. It's you don't want to. You remember when we were growing up, the NBA All-Star dunk competition?
The best back in those days, dude. I used to
Michael
love that.
Jordan would be in it, you know, dunking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you don't get that now because
but that was
nobody wants to look bad, so they let the kids do it. Like, you know what I mean? Because if LeBron went out there and fucked up a dunk, everyone would laugh at him even more than they already do for everything else dumb he does. So it's like you're not going to put the risk of exposing yourself out there. So, you know, it's like that. You don't want to have up and comers in a tournament because then everybody's really going to say who cares. They're already saying who cares now. And then if you put a bunch of nobodies in this tournament, you know, that's not going to give them the rub. The whole rub of this tournament is you put the best of the best of the best, sir, up against each other and see who really comes out on top. But I just don't think it works as well for American TV formatting because these fans have no patience and they're so far removed from what pro wrestling is. They have no idea how to even appreciate something like this. And Tony doesn't know how to do it in a way to win them over. So anyway.
Facts. But like T and Cooper says, don't forget Spud Webb dunking.
I could never forget that.
Even Muggsy Bogues will freaking dunk for crying out loud.
Yeah.
But he wasn't in the dunk contest.
So with that being said, we move on to Collision, Continental Collision. And we're starting out with a Blue League match. It's Pac versus Speedball, the bastard versus the Speedball.
Oh,
who do you think wins in a match of a bastard and a ball?
I go with a bastard all the time.
Well, you would be right because he brutalizes this ball. Fuck your Taekwondo black belt. You're getting put in the rings of Saturn. So that's how it is. That's how it ends up. And there we go. 3 points for Pac.
And just like that, we see the guy that's gonna probably have the L's a lot. Maybe he'll get that one. I don't even think that Speedball will get that 3 points. I think he's gonna get a draw. It's gonna be like 1 point, something like that. I don't see if anybody gets 3 points off of him. Oh my god, I feel bad for the other person losing.
It's a far cry from where he was because when I was reviewing Impact and he was there, it was like I thought they were just gonna put the world title on him. Like he never did no jobs. I was like, I got so tired of him, dude. I'm just like, oh man. Now he's back to kind of where he should be. Like you look at this short guy with his little mullet and his bare feet, and you're like, yeah, you probably should lose most of the time, I guess.
He's got good kicks. I'll give him that. But yeah, I'm not a fan of his really either.
I would hate to have a Taekwondo black belt throw bad kicks. So he's got to do something right.
That's true.
And the subplot, the sub story, again, subliminally, guys, all the Death Riders are winning. So again, they're all on equal footing. So they're showing their dominance again, like nothing ever happened. Blood and Guts never happened, and you know, John Moxley never tapping out has never happened, and they just move on to the next thing.
Could they have an intervention with Moxley? Wouldn't that be funny?
Well, stay tuned for next week's Dynamite when it's Claudio versus Moxley. That's what it is.
That'll be interesting. See what happens. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So unfortunately, Lexi gets a word from Daniel Garcia while John Moxley makes faces. Then Renee is with Brodito. Unfortunately, Brodito is going to stay a team.
Damn it.
Even though Final Battle is coming up and Bandito has to defend his Ring of Honor World Championship. In case anybody forgot that he was the world champion of Ring of Honor. He's got a championship match coming up. It was supposed to be against Roosh. Apparently, I got some news. Roosh has been injured. He will not.
His brother.
Yeah, he will not be able to. Dragon Lee's injured.
No. Jalistico.
I'm kidding.
I got it. I got the joke.
Yeah, the professor got it.
I know.
So-
I get the joke because his brother too, obviously, but also Jalistico, they're brothers too, aren't they?
Yeah. So he's hurt and. Anyway, so now it's going to be, I forget what they're going to do. There's going to be some kind of a multi-man something or other to face Bandito. I forget.
Hopefully Jeff Jarrett gets a slot. That's
It's a
what I'm saying.
survival of the
Gotta get that
fittest match.
slot.
It's a survival of the fittest match, which is a 6-man elimination match featuring Blake, Christian,
Oh God,
Sammy
Jesus.
Guevara,
Fuck.
but get this,
The Beast Mortos,
Commander, and
Hechicero.
Wow.
yeah.
This is the chance for Hechicero to Bring that
How
gold
the
to
hell
the
does
kids.
Blake Christian get a slot in this prestigious title match and not Jeff Jarrett, who's been saying, I have one more run in me. I need a title. Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
That's Jeff Jarrett's son.
I never watched Zero Hour, so I don't know if anybody ever asked him about that. For all I know, every month RJ City could be asking Jeff Jarrett, what about that last title run? You know, like I couldn't tell you if it happens because I don't watch, but anyways, Daniel Garcia versus Fatty Magic. John Moxley's on commentary for this. Okay. Now, remember how I said I try to be fair and nice, and then there's other times. This guy, Matt Menard, if that is your real name, sir. I've not been kind to Matt Menard. I'm not going to start today. But just the idea of this. Okay, so now this guy looks ridiculous. Just his whole persona and everything has been ridiculous. He reminds me, never mind, I'm not going to go into it. Let's just say, not my favorite. He's in this match against Daniel Garcia, who turned on him. You know, like that's the betrayal, right? Thought we were friends, all this stuff. He's sitting there like chewing gum in this match. Okay. What do you think happens in this emotional, contest between these two guys? They start with a lockup, for fuck's sake. Okay. Never mind. I mean, okay. You could try to explain your way out of that. I suppose you do want to have a professional wrestling contest. Eventually, though, things get ugly, and Daniel Garcia busts Matt open. So now Matt has got the crimson mask on a random collision match, by the way. Never mind, but he's got that blood all over his face, still chewing gum. Do you realize how stupid you look, bleeding from the head all over your face while you're...
He's tough, man. He's tough.
Well,
when you look at it, it's the most ridiculous visual you've ever seen. How could you be in the right mind to chew your gum? That gum should have been spit out before you ever got in the ring. This is why I can't. I feel bad sometimes when I'm like, man, these guys are out there. Who did I ever beat? I can't be criticizing these guys. They're putting in the road miles. They're putting in the time. They're going to the gym. They're making the towns. They're doing all this stuff. And like, I shouldn't be so hard on them. And then I see shit like this and I'm like, man, I'm not hard enough.
all I'm saying, Vet, is blood adds a little flavor to your gum. That's all it is. Blood, just
I knew you were going to say that.
A bloody
iron flavor.
Nothing wrong with bloody juicy fruits.
Iron juicy fruit, iron flavor. Yeah, great.
I like.
Anyways,
damn.
Anyways, Daniel Garcia kisses ass with a bulldog choke, and
it was via stoppage, wasn't it? If I remember.
Yeah. Just like, look at me, John. I can do the bulldog choke just like you. You're my new daddy.
Daddy, God damn it.
So Mark Briscoe comes out and he's like, hey, I know I'm the champion, but I might as well challenge you to a title match, Daniel Garcia. So
it's on.
It is just weird, and I'm just gonna say this. Maybe I'm nitpicking here, but after Full Gear, there was just very limited storylines coming out of that pay-per-view, and now they're hot-shotting all these stories to go into. I understand this, Vet. You go on to the next program, you just do that because it's the natural circle of life within professional wrestling. It just feels a little bit watered down for Mark Briscoe to go that highest of highs, like you said, cutting the greatest, not the greatest promo, but a very heartfelt promo. Now to go into this with Daniel Garcia, again, you go from the highest of highs. I don't want to say the lowest of lows, but it is a little bit underwhelming, just in my humble opinion.
Well, I'll be a little less humble and say, yes, it's damn underwhelming. It's even more gross when you realize the fact that, like Mark Briscoe mentioned here, Garcia got this title before him. You remember Daniel Garcia was a TNT champion? I don't blame you if you don't, because they didn't do nothing with it. And it was just a colossal waste of everybody's time, just like he has been his entire career. So
Isn't he more than one time TNT champion? Isn't he like a 2-time maybe?
no, they're not that
Okay,
dumb. But
well, I don't know. But
okay, they are that dumb, but they didn't do it. How about that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, finally some brilliance. We get some Ricochet here. Demand promo. Thank you, God. Thank you, Lord. I'm just so entertained by the fact that people still don't realize they're getting worked by Ricochet. It's just the most, like when I listen to the drive-through or the experience, and I just listen to Jim Cornette talk shit about Ricochet, and like, you really don't get it, Jim? After all these years, you don't see what he's doing? If you don't see it, who could see it? Well, we all see it, I guess. I mean, apparently, but yeah, so yeah, definitely Ricochet, my favorite. You guys also love the Demand, right? You got a t-shirt on the way in the mail.
Oh yeah.
One of those coats.
Demanding that Demand t-shirt.
I got the in-demand sweaters ready to go. And the action figures. But I just want to say one thing about the Ricochet thing, because I understand, Vet, what you're saying. Again, what he's doing, it's beautiful stuff. Just pick the dance partner. Going out to the ringside to a country music star that I don't know about. Again, I that's not my taste. I don't like country music to a degree. If it ain't Kenny Rogers or Dolly Parton, I don't give a fuck. But did you hear the crowd? It was almost like the crowd said, "Who are you?" The crowd didn't even care that Ricochet was picking a fight with a country music star. I mean, pick the right celebrity so this way at least the fans can get behind him, because the fans were quiet. Even if I don't know who it is, but at least pick somebody that even the fans in the arena can at least get behind that.
Well, you can only pick them if they're there. This is the best they could do. That's the thing.
Tony needs to just get out the checkbook. Get a country music star.
I know.
Get Garth Brooks. I don't care who. At least somebody you know.
Hasn't Brooks got heat right now?
With who?
I don't know. I read something about he was endangering fans or some shit. I just read it briefly, but I just skipped past it.
Yeah, I didn't even have this really in my notes. All I wrote down was Demand promo. And the reason why I put that placeholder in there was because after I watched this, I meant to go look up who the hell this was supposed to be, because the commentator said his name twice and I still didn't hear what it was. Like, I couldn't tell by them talking what his last name was. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go look that up later. And I forgot and I never did. But like you said, this meant nothing to even the people that were there. How are you even supposed to know who this guy is? If you guys don't know, I'm certainly not going to know. And the announcers told me who he was and I don't know. So again, this is, but one of the things that I've always said, in terms of these people that I do give the praise that I feel they richly deserve or poorly deserve, but they deserve, whatever, is this is the lemonade. You gave Ricochet this lemon. That's all that they did. And what is he supposed to do? Go hire his own celebrity? Of course, he's just got to do this. He probably found out this afternoon that he had to Google this guy. So that's all I'm saying. Like, you just have to, that's why it's so important for me to praise the people that I do when I do, because they do deserve it, because they have to go through this and the fans don't appreciate it all the time, or even guys that have been in the business for 50 years don't appreciate it, apparently. Like, these guys are doing their best and they're not getting anything to work with. They're not getting the ingredients.
You're right. All I'm just going to say is I understood I guess they were in Nashville or something like that. So you had to have the country music flavor of the moment. But again, if Tony Khan just thought about it right, what happened a couple of weeks ago? Who was Jimmy, you got to correct me. Who was the rapper that had some issues with WWE because he was using
West Side Gun.
Wouldn't
that have been the perfect moment for the guy Ricochet to pick a fight?
That would have been perfect. Actually, I like that. That's
West Side Gun, who has some issues with WWE. He could be in the front row and do everything the vet says. That's already lemonade. That's already a lemonade treat.
Jeez, how did I not think of that? That's actually a great idea, Prof, man. That's actually a very good idea.
All right. And I
Wow.
also don't know if this is ever going to become anything because they're not going to be in Nashville next week, right? So it's not like he's going to have the match. You know, when they did the thing with Zach Gowen, like that was a money angle, even though it didn't draw any money because it's on Collision and it's AEW and yada, 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 many other reasons. But I mean, they executed it good. So, you know, that's one thing because Zach Gowen can be wherever you need him to be. This guy ain't going to travel and no one's going to want to see it if he does. And if he does travel, then it's going to be a guy that even the people in his home city didn't know who he was. And now he's going to go to, you know, where? Des Moines, Iowa or whatever. It just doesn't work. So
Des Moines, Iowa. So why is it promo now? Someone should have stopped him. But anyway, yeah.
Right. I've been talking enough. The next thing that happened is Tony Schiavone brings out FTR with Stokely, who gets a bit emotional here. But Professor, I mean, take it away. Like, I'll let you, you know, dissect this and whatever happens after the promo, or interrupts the promo, should I say, whatever it is. I'll let you take this one.
You know, I understood the logic or the analogy of taking lemons and making lemonade, but even FTR couldn't make this lemonade. That's the problem I have. Number one.
Damn.
Again, I'm objective. I'm always objective. Just because it's my favorite tag team, I have a little bit of bias. But
well, they weren't tag team wrestling here, so I can understand.
Of course, but you know, for all other teams wanting a shot at the FTR, and then the Bang Bang Gang comes out. Not to say that they didn't have no backstory. I understood that part. They beat FTR on their way to become tag team champions. So there is a little bit of momentum. You could say you can bring that heat for a future Dynamite and a future Collision. But again, I already said it. It's like, you know, you're doing fillers. You're doing fillers because we know who is supposed to come out or come out at the right time. And that right time is Edge and Christian. We just don't know where. That's the problem. It is. We know where Tony Khan wants to get to, but he has to fill time just to get there. That's the problem I have. FDR cannot make lemonade out of everything.
Way too much time.
Yeah.
That you can't fill that time.
You can't fill it.
It's impossible. Also, I'd like to add to Charles's list of rap artists that they dropped. Right. You forgot Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq Diesel. Come on. It's another rap artist.
True. They really did have Trina, didn't they? Talk about fucking irrelevant at the time.
Well, they had West Side Gun too. And they also had well, he at least came out with somebody.
I don't remember. Oh, maybe
he rapped. He probably, I think he rapped Daniel Garcia to the ring or some shit like that. Because they're from Buffalo or something, right?
I think so.
Maybe you could be right.
I know he was on the show. I just don't remember who he was with. It was years ago now. And Action Bronson, and there's lots of rappers they've had.
Action Bronson as well, yeah. There's probably a few others that's not coming up, but yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So the Bang Bang Club wants a shot at the title since they already beat him recently. So they're just saying, Juice Robinson's like, we want a shot. So
and they're doing it for Jay White.
Yeah, doing it for Jay, doing it for the other gun, not the West Side Gun. The Colton
not
gun.
the West Side Gun. There's also a Gunner too.
Yeah,
the rapper that is.
So MXMTV casting call. It's a favorite. Well, they've done like 6-7 of these in a row now, so they definitely got the momentum going. We were wondering if they were going to keep it up. They've definitely kept it up. I don't know why they were dressed like the lion and the Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz.
They made a couple of Wizard of Oz references from what I remember, but
but why though?
And
also, why did Taya and Johnny have nothing to do with it ever? Like they just come out dressed like they always do.
Well, technically, the Wizard of Oz comes out on Thanksgiving time, so I guess they wanted to keep that.
Okay.
Oh, does it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's interesting.
All right. So I knew there had to be some reason I was missing because these guys are on it. They're actually going to be that for no reason. All right. Well, the surprise match is a trios match versus the Castle Runners. And
God.
Yeah, they hit the bangarang on Mansoor. And then the Demand come out. Oh, this is where oh, that's why. Okay, so I was right. It was just a regular promo before, and then this is the spot where the Demand comes out. The first thing Ricochet says, he comes out, he's like, "Don't boo me." Just, God, I don't understand what everybody's problem is with this guy. He's fucking a genius. He's a genius. Yeah, so they attack they attack the the guys, the Outrunners, whoever. And then that's when they provoke country music star Michael something.
It was Michael Ray.
Who?
Exactly, Michael Ray.
I know we just made like 10 minutes of a point of that, but
Big Ray's third cousin from the Tennessee side. That's what it is.
Yeah, I've never heard of him in my life. Straight up.
Nobody has. You could tell. That's the problem. Anyway. So yeah, but we already talked about that. So it's cool. Lexi's with the Callis family. Everyone gives things that they're thankful for. Okada's thankful for not teaming with Takeshita, and then of course they just have to stare at each other again. Like, that's their one move. I'm surprised. I would really like it's just a small thing, but it would just be nice if they would just like improv some shit talk in Japanese, like off mic. You know what I mean? Just like instead of just staring at each other with their chins up, like, can you just at least do a little bit of shit talking?
Because then you can picture Cal saying, "What are they saying?" Like he's not understanding him and shit. Like no one's understanding him.
Something. Next is Eddie Kingston versus Shibata in the promised match. The match is whatever, but the weird part was suddenly Eddie hits a DDT and it's over. It definitely had no rhythm to it. So I feel like they took it home early for some reason, but it was weird. Did you guys notice how weird that was? It just ended. I don't know. I don't know if you got, I don't know how much you guys actually watch Collision. I understand, but
no, I mean, I've been watching it. I'm sure Prof has been watching it, but I actually felt Collision was better than Dynamite personally. But anyway, Prof.
Right. Well, it could have been a power of the phone. Like it could have been anything in this one moment, but it just seemed like there was no, you guys have watched wrestling for decades. So, instinctively, you can feel it in your bones when a match is coming towards the finish. Right?
Yeah.
Like
right,
you just get the feeling like, okay, this match is about to end. Right. I didn't get that. Didn't get that.
No, you're right. If this was a couple of years ago, Eddie Kingston versus Shibata, this would have went 25 minutes because Eddie Kingston respects Shibata, respects his history and stuff like that, and they would go balls to the wall. But we know that there's a story here that Eddie Kingston wants something. He wants somebody. He wants Samoa Joe. So now Shibata's got to eat the pin. He's got to take the L's. He's got to be the lambs to the slaughter. It's not going to be Powerhouse Hobbs. That's going to be a strong win for Eddie Kingston. Now Shibata, he's got to be, again, he's an afterthought because he can't speak. He needs his phone to speak for him to get over.
Well, I mean, I get that part, but I was just more speaking of the mechanics of the actual match. Like I was concerned because
maybe Shibata's head. You don't want to do anything wrong with that.
Right. So DDT him and end the match. That's what you
DDT, do. Guys, did you notice how Shibata low blowed Eddie right in front of the referee?
I mean,
right after that, he done a DDT. Shibata done a submission move, and the ref disallowed checking on Kingston because of the low blow, and then Kingston done the DDT weirdly enough, and then it was 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, the whole thing was bizarre. And also, Eddie cut a long rambling promo afterwards, which made me think he had to pull time, because it went short. Because he's out there talking. He cuts a shoot promo, right?
Yeah, shoot.
So, yeah, he says it like, I'm going to shoot or whatever. So it's like, all right, thanks, Eddie. We get it. You like to flippantly use insider terms and act like we're stupid for noticing. All right. So anyways, yeah, so he cuts his promo. He's inspired. He thanks the people. He challenges Samoa Joe. He picks up a kid on the way out. So like a very politician. So, yeah. So that happened. Red Velvet wants a rematch at Final Battle.
She does.
Her reasoning for this, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's accurate. She says the only reason she's talking to Mercedes now. She's like, the only reason you won is because you saw an opening and you took it.
Really? How fucking dumb is that? And how lazy is that?
Yeah,
too?
no one's ever won any sports competitions by doing something like that before. See an opening and take it?
That's
You know,
just dumb.
Emmitt Smith should have just ran right into his center every time they handed the ball to him. I don't know why he was looking for those openings to score. Dumbass Emmitt Smith. Yeah.
You know,
That's
it's like you
pretty
said,
toxic.
make lemons into lemonade, and Red Velvet could not understand that Mercedes Moné has somebody in her back pocket, Tony Khan, and the political stroke that she has. That's getting getting over on me. That's what it is. You want to say that, but you just couldn't say that. But at least on the flip side, on the positive note, Red Velvet, you got a high-profile match at a very prestigious pay-per-view that 1,500 Honor Club members are going to buy just to see you lose to Mercedes Moné. What's wrong with that? Be grateful for the shine that Mercedes is giving you, because we haven't heard from you in 2 years.
And be grateful that you're still fine as hell.
Yeah,
Give her that.
absolutely.
I'd
100%.
like to be in that mama's kitchen. Yeah.
I'd always want to see what she's cooking.
Yeah.
I want the yams. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying,
The
be
yams.
grateful.
The velvet yam.
The velvet yam.
Red velvet potato pie.
Oh,
Okay. Next is Tekla versus Ty Mello.
God.
And I had in my notes, who the hell is Ty Mello to use a gotch pile driver? Who fucking taught you gotch pile driver?
Must be Sammy.
Must
Probably not.
Yeah, he gave her a different pile driver, I think. But
Tekla was talking a lot of trash in his match. Come on, try me.
yeah. She
Over and over,
talks a lot now. Remember when she didn't say anything and now can't shut
Dude,
her up?
she does. She does talk a lot. Fucking hell. She doesn't even have an accent. She sounds like she's from the US. Apparently, she's from Austria, though.
She's
Yeah.
not comfortable, Jimmy. You know that. She's very comfortable. She needed her time. You know, she needed to get her feet wet because the in-ring stuff is already there. But again,
Yeah,
she's
she can go, sure, but there's
wait,
nothing
wait,
really to her.
She's fantastic, Jimmy. Come on.
She's fantastic.
Let me ask you, Jimmy. I mean,
Get to that chopper.
I mean, you use the app for the Sisters of Sin, but you don't use the app for Tekla. I mean, she is part
Look,
of-
the name, first of all, is just, you got to lose it. When I think of Tekla, I think of Tickler, if you know what I mean.
Tekla.
That's what goes through my mind every time.
What kind of
You know
freak
what
are
that
you?
is,
You're
right?
a fetish freak. What's wrong with you?
Nah. But
I
no
love that
shit,
though. The name, you got to lose it. Okay, it says now coming to the ring.
Tekla.
Tickler.
Just
You know,
nothing.
something is why Tekla? Like, what's a Tekla, bro?
It's like a
Anyone?
car, right? It's like the
That's-
Elon Musk.
Yeah, not a Tekla. It's not called Tekla.
Oh,
That's
It's
what,
close.
That's what didn't make it on the Tesla floor. The Teklas.
Yeah, it's Tesla, right? But it's close. But still, whatever. So she's a car, and
she
everybody
calls
gets
that
to
she
drive
calls
it.
that spear finish the Cybertruck. Yeah.
I just want a sicko just to have a sign out now with Tekla's name and just feet. Just put feet and Tekla and just don't say nothing. Don't even ascertain anything. Just put feet on the board when it says Tekla.
Tekla.
Well, speaking of that, she didn't actually use the Cybertruck here. She used the stomp.
Yeah.
She used the Seth Rollins stomp as a finish here.
Could she be the mystery guy on Survivor Series?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I think you got it.
Got the same body structure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
But
Yeah.
yeah, but so then the triangle of death came in and gave her a beating, and then Jamie Hayter music plays and she runs
Oh.
in to make the save, but then it's still 3-on-2, so they're about to kick her ass, and then Chris Statlander music, and then she makes a save. Anna Jay is what? She's hurt or something?
Is she? I don't
No,
know.
her-
The last
her
time I
con-
saw
her
her was the
contract's up.
backside.
Her contract.
What?
That's what they said.
Oh yeah, I
contract's
heard
up?
about that.
It's coming up soon, very soon. That's what.
Oh, very soon, but not on
I don't
Collision,
know.
so that she could have saved her tag team partner.
I don't know about that 10-year window with Anna Jay, but it's happening.
Man, she's gonna sign that Hall of Fame contract, huh? Why don't you give her the Brett 20?
Her ass is definitely Hall of Fame worthy just for that.
Definitely, 100%.
Just that alone.
So anyway, yeah. So everybody except her friend saves Ty here,
Right?
and their main event is a Blue League match.
Before you go into the main event, can we at least say this? We just had blood and guts with those players involved. We're going backwards now into building certain things with the players that are in that moment, right? That's the problem. You went backwards from a major payoff and all that blood to say all the ladies shine in your war games, and now you go backwards just to do that. And I know I think Tekla or Tickler, whatever Jimmy wants to say with his foot fetish freaking shit, but if Tekla is gonna challenge Chris Statlander maybe at World's End or something like that, I'm cool with that. But I'm just saying we're going ass backwards with where we're supposed to go with this. Am I wrong, Vet?
Well, you're not wrong in what you say, but you're wrong in calling it out because that's just what AEW's done since its inception. So we're now in the 5th anniversary of going backwards every single angle.
Yeah.
Just pointed it out. I'm sorry. I just a nitpicker.
No, I'm glad that you did, because that's the whole reason I bother to break all of these shows down to the foundations and like cover all these little things, because even a little thing can mean something big if you're pointing out just how flawed everything is. And it's like, I recount these shows in the order that they happen for a reason. The reason is so that the people that haven't watched it, when they hear it, they get a sense of why we are so aggravated and put upon by reviewing this. You know, if we just skip to the highlights or whatever, you don't really get a sense of how bad the show can be, like in terms of the formatting, in terms of the angles, or like you said, like we're talking about repeating spots in matches back to back, or, you know, going backwards in booking over periods of weeks and months. Like, that's why we lay it all out chronologically. If you were to take a playlist of the Wreckage and just listen, like you were binging AEW Collision and Dynamite, except you're just listening to us talk about it, you still get the whole experience, but then it sounds even more ridiculous than if you were to actually watch the shows, because now we're pointing it out bit by bit. So every time that you have something like that, Professor, please stop everything, halt everything, and let us know.
No problem. I got you.
Okay. But yes, looks like there's been enough talk. It's time for the main event. I don't have a salmon jacket, but we do have a Blue League match. It is Konosuke Takeshita, the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, versus Roderick Strong, the champion of absolutely jack shit of fuck all. Did anybody pay attention to this for one hot second?
I only know that Roderick Strong was an alternate because it was not his spot. He
Kyle O'Reilly could not surmount his injuries from the Blood and Guts pay-per-view. So he, even in a win, he was so crippled that he had to be removed from this tournament. So Roderick Strong steps in.
Storytelling, guys. I mean, come on.
Great story.
But look, the match was hard hitting. It was actually a pretty decent match. Let's be honest. But yeah, I mean, I don't care about Roderick Strong. I am a fan of Takeshita. I've said it already once or twice. I think he's got something. But Takeshi gets the win, obviously, and the right man won. I mean, he's going to be the one, obviously, that's going to go undefeated, I think, in the tournament. And Okada's basically going to be the Rocky in this match. You know what I'm saying? When they eventually go head to head, I think. Anyway, that's what it's leading to. I think Takeshi's going to look like $1 million going throughout this tournament, beating absolutely everybody until he gets to Okada. And even then, I'm not sure if he wins or not. Okada, that is. Sorry, Prof?
I would agree with that, Jimmy. But remember last year, everybody said, well, on the sicko front, everybody said that about Kyle Fletcher, that he was going to go and that was going to be his springboard. And then for some strange, right, and then for some strange reason, Tony just kind of like altered it where he was supposed to win and he just didn't win. So what you're saying should point out, but just don't be surprised if Tony Khan is trying to do something unpredictable, quote unquote. We all think it's supposed to be Okada and Takeshita in the finals.
But is that the right thing to do? Like we were saying earlier, predictability can be a good thing. And in this case, I think it should be predictable. You know what I mean?
We're seeing it on TV. It should play out. But again, this is Tony. In some weird way, he wants to say, you know what? I know you want Takeshita in the finals. I know you want Okada in the final. Well, Okada, the Rocky thing, you're right. He could come out and maybe do a wild card thing, and he needs that point at the last minute just to make it. I got you on that one. The Takeshi thing is very spotty because, again, it depends on who else is in the blue league. Which league is he in? Whatever.
Yeah, blue. No,
Takeshi's in the blue league.
Blue. He's blue. Yeah.
Well, whoever is in there, whoever could, Takeshi should win that league. But it depends on who's in that league. I know it ain't gonna be Roderick Strong. It's just somebody else. Maybe it could be Pac or something like that could overtake it. You know what I'm saying, Jimmy? Like Tony wants to do something like that. That's the thing. Don't be weird about that.
See that with Pac as well, for sure. Vet.
So, in the blue league, which is the Jobber League, you have Jon Moxley, Claudio, Takeshita, Roderick. You got Dorada and you got Orange.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's nobody in there that you wouldn't see Takeshita beating. But they could pull a fast one with Moxley just to even it up with Okada on the other side in terms of like him taking that.
It's going to be a close one on the other end of the bracket between about 3 guys, probably.
Yeah. Otherwise, you have, in the Gold League, you have Okada, Speedball, Fletcher, Knight, Pac, and Darby. Okay. So just as something to watch on television, I'm salivating at Okada versus Darby. Like that's going to be the best match in this whole fucking thing, probably.
Talk about a clash of styles too, which is going to make it interesting. They've never,
or is it? Right? Because really, Darby doesn't. He can do
wrestle,
anything.
Right. That's true. Right. He can.
So it's going to be good. And Okada will not do anything stupid. He won't allow it. So, that's where Darby can have one match. He loves killing himself, but it's not like he doesn't understand that he doesn't need to do it at times, or that if somebody else doesn't want to do it, he doesn't have to do it. He's going to do enough killing himself the other 5 matches.
Right. Exactly. No, you're right. Absolutely. And plus it tells a story too by him actually playing into Okada's own game, right? Like as a wrestling match, for example, which could tell a story too. They can even pump him up. Like, look at this guy. He can wrestle. He can do this. He can do that. They never actually say that about him, which I feel like they should.
Well, the commentary team's a joke anyway. So that's why we never really talk about it on here. I don't think any of us even pay attention, even when we do watch. It's like, I'm not listening. I'm not going to listen to Excalibur. Are you kidding me?
I will say Excalibur lady has been throwing him under the bus a little bit, though. I will say that. Oh, shit. But before we continue, G-Ball's giving us a $5 super sticker. G-Ball, thank you very much. You get the good old... There we go, the gong.
Anyway. Yeah, I think that... But to what you guys were talking about, yeah, I think you might as well just do the Okada and Takeshita thing here because you're not going to build it any more than this. You can't. It's just, this is the most build it's going to get. And if you wait any longer, the steam will come off it. It's just the same thing as like, what was the other thing they waited too long to pull the trigger on?
Well, the Osprey thing they totally stuffed up too. With All-In, if you remember, I feel like anyway. And
you could say, and I'm not trying to be funny, Daddy Magic and Daniel Garcia, they actually waited way too long even for that match to even matriculate here for fucking Dynamite or Collision, whatever the case may be.
That's because they're foreplaying them two for quite a bit.
Too much foreplay.
Yeah, nobody wanted to see that, but people do kind of want to see this. They're enjoying it, so I think that's just the right move. And nobody else in this is like, it's not important. Like it's like really, it's just not important. So, like, all the shine, whatever shine there was off Moxley anyway. Like that's the only other major name that you would have seen as like a dominant main event player. So now that he's been exposed as a guy that quits all the time, I don't think it like doing that. Yeah, doing this, he's just there to probably spoil some of the point totals or something.
It's just weird. But see, this tournament should tell multiple stories though, like with Marks, with Takeshita, with Okada, with Fletcher.
They didn't. They threw too many random bodies in there that mean nothing.
Right, and that's just the problem.
Yeah, it's and you know, whatever. They could have picked different random bodies and still got more value out of it. So anyways, but that was your Collision episode. That was your Blue League match. Takeshita won, in case anybody was wondering. Like,
yeah.
But he definitely hit the Raging Fire. But there's no post match. There's no nothing. It's just, hey, I won, and good night, everybody. So,
yeah,
which is fine. You know, we don't always need a schmoz to close things out.
No, definitely not.
It's a tournament. It's a tournament. You didn't need a schmoz even in the Dynamite ending because it was kind of stupid just to have all the players just to look around.
They just love doing that shit. Tony's a weird guy.
Hence why you didn't need a tournament in the first place when you can just have stories to play out.
Do we have to have it every year? Does it have to be a tradition? Why not just do it like a World Cup for soccer or the Olympics? Every 4 years or something like that, where you can maybe it will mean something more because it's not around every time. But you establish the fact that it's on every 2 years or every 4 years, so it can mean something and you can build to it. You know what I mean? But no, instead, it becomes a lot more meaningful, less meaningful, in my opinion, when you do it that way. But who might have judged?
It's too late now.
Right, exactly. What's done is done. Exactly. Well, fellas, I think we can take it home. We've done under 2 hours. That's pretty good timing. So, Vera, I'm going to ask you first, man. What are you up to tonight or today? Are you jumping on the Twitch and whatnot?
Yeah, I'll be doing that a little bit, few minutes, hour, whatever it is. Just a little bit of time. At Opinion Haver everywhere. Check me out on Twitch, anywhere, X, Instagram, you know, YouTube, whatever. Opinion Haver everywhere. Check me out on Monday night, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern for the Impact Attack with Brandon. We talk about TNA. Join me every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern for the Next Level Wrestling Review with Big Ray Hernandez. We talk about NXT. Ooh.
Baby got back.
Check out Wrestling with Rick Rogers every Friday, except this past Friday because of Thanksgiving. There was no episode, but do check out Stevie Richards' show, who did have an episode. Thanksgiving be damned. And check out Limpin' Ain't Easy with Timmy Baltimore. New episode up with Johnny Jeter from the Spirit Squad. What a great episode. A lot of, that's a guy that was, like, he was just leaving as I was getting to OVW, so some of the stuff they talk about I was aware of. He told a story that I knew the story, and I didn't know he was the person in the story. So I found out something new and put two pieces together there. So check out that episode. Check out Timmy Baltimore, Limpin' Ain't Easy, YouTube. It's free. That's it for me. What about you guys?
Prof, tell them what you're doing and what's new in the world of the Pro Wrestling Reflection.
Well, the link is on my, right on the bottom right there, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Reflection. Come on, how many nights? Subscribe to the most nostalgic podcast out there with myself and the Tommy Wonder. And we dropped an episodic episode, Global Wrestling Federation 1992 Supercard, featuring the global television champion at that time, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. And we talk about the bounty storyline. So, that's what Tony Khan needs, a bounty storyline. Watch the nostalgic podcast, Tony. And so this way you could use it on a future Dynamite and Collision. So follow me on the Twitter at PWSOPROF. That's PWSOPROF, guys. Thank you.
Nice. Very well put there, Professor. Well, as far as I go, we are supposed to be doing a Survivor Series show, but, it's just getting someone to join me, which is the problem lately, the last week. But stay tuned. Maybe I'll do it on my own. We'll see. And the same deal with the Smack Attack. It was supposed to be a Smack Attack, but unfortunately it didn't happen. Unfortunately Ricky's got PC issues for the time being, so hopefully that gets resolved pretty quickly. But other than that, obviously you can check out the Wreckage every week on the same time, 11 a.m. Eastern, right here on the Hummy Media Group's YouTube channel and on the Twitch, and of course channelattitude.com. But other than that, follow me on Twitter at the PWC Network. And I think that's a wrap from me. So till next time, I am Jimmy T. He is my co-host, the best in the world, Jamie the Vet Williams. And that is the Professor Chabelo Vera Cruz, the magnanimous one, that is, and the glorious one. And you've been listening and watching the
Wreckage.
Boy.
Hey, I didn't fuck it up that time. And you can catch it live every week right here on Hummy Media Group's YouTube channel. Also, like and subscribe to Hummy Media Group's YouTube channel. That'll be very much appreciated. There it is, right on the screen right there.
And share.
And yeah, and G-Ball, once again, thank you for the $5 super chat. We really appreciate it. And thanks to everybody that joined us today. Till next time, peace, happy Thanksgiving, and take it easy. See yous.